And anytime there's any question about the Kings Nation, how fans should feel, we bring in all-time Kings icon. He was an assistant coach. He was a head coach. He was a general manager, outstanding broadcaster, player personnel director, GM of the Monarchs. And I'm sure he thoroughly enjoyed last night. The one and only Jerry Reynolds. How are you today, Jerry?
Guys, let me tell you something. You talk about joy. Today I was just been floating around until actually still listening to you guys arguing like a bunch of old women. But I mean, truly a joyful experience beating the Warriors, and it was a terrific win. I mean, the Warriors, we can say what we want to them now that we've beaten them, but they came in winning 9 of their last 11. Certainly come in on a much bigger high note than the Kings, but it was just a marvelous performance by everybody and the coaching staff. So joy, joy, joy in Kingsland. That's all I got to say.
Jerry, when you watched that game last night, what stood out to you, I guess, the most? Was it, the others, not the star players, but guys like Keon and Keegan stepping up, or was it the defense? Like, what did you notice last night?
Well, number one, it was the defense, certainly, but I haven't said that very quickly. I mean, Keon, Keegan, and Harrison Barnes were the keys to the win. Domas and Fox did what Domas and Fox do. But those guys were the difference makers. But the defense was terrific. I mean, I think the guard line with, of course, Keon and De'Aaron, who's become an outstanding defender, and then, of course, Davion, just a lot of pressure. Curry was having a tough time getting bad shots. And, and that's, all-time great, and he clearly is that, first ballot Hall of Famer, and he had a tough time getting any offense going, which, of course, the Warriors aren't nearly the same when he's not the same.
Jerry, I was a little surprised because I know that Draymond had said, and a lot of people looked at these two teams and said, wow, they know each other well. There aren't going to be a lot of surprises. But to me, it looked like the Warriors really were surprised by how much pressure the Kings were putting on the basketball. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I do agree with that. That's exactly right. I think they came in expecting to see the Kings team that they saw defensively early in the year, when clearly they haven't played them since early in the year and last year, and where the Kings just basically tried to outscore everybody. But really in the last month or so, I mean, this team has just really gotten better defensively. And, I mean, you've got guys who can defend. I mean, Keegan Murray is terrific for a second-year player. He can defend several positions. And then, like I mentioned the guys before, so, Domas can't really protect the rim, but there are not many centers that can switch out on wing players and willing to do it. and put the kind of energy it takes to go out there on the floor and double and try to help back. So, yeah, it's very impressive effort defensively. And I think Coach Brown and the staff, I mean, they deserve a lot of kudos.
Jerry, what about Keegan offensively, dropping 32, 8 threes? What did you like about what you saw from him last night?
Well, he set the tone early. I thought he came out there and which is a little bit of a surprise. He came out and told the Golden State Warriors, I'll be here for the full game, fellas. And was aggressive and took shots and created shots. And so, he was, I kind of think he was the star of the game personally, even more than Keon, because the 32 points, and he was outstanding defensively too. A young star in the making. I don't think there's no doubt in my mind. Maybe others, I don't know. I've heard people criticize him because he doesn't have a lot of emotion. I said, well, you wouldn't have liked Tim Duncan much either.
Jerry, I know you were on with us much earlier in the season, and you suggested that Keegan was having a little bit of a hard time, or he was having to adjust to having to take more shots, whereas last year he only took the shots he was comfortable with. Does it seem like he has gotten more comfortable with a larger offensive role? How important has that been to his growth?
Well, I think he has, and certainly he's more comfortable creating his own shot, looking for it. I don't think the first year he just never did that. He took what was given to him by his teammates and or defense, and so he's really becoming, a more offensive-minded weapon, and not just counting on making threes. Mm-hmm. So just a lot of reasons to be positive is what I would say.
Yeah, you're right about that. The great Jerry Reynolds joining us. Jerry, no Malik, no Kevin Huerter. As a coach, what's your message when guys go down like that? Do you lean on your star players? Is it next man up? Is it everybody has to lift up the load? What would you say to the team?
Well, I think in this case, it is all of that. But, I mean, in play-ins or playoffs, it's a little different. You get more rest, generally. I mean, and you're telling your starters or your key guys, okay, next man up. But you guys are going to be playing more, and that's what we're seeing. The starters are playing big minutes. Well, okay, they can do that. Difference between 35 and 39, it's not going to kill them. They're capable of it. We're seeing that, and they can play at a high level, and they need to. I mean, you don't have Huerter and Monk. Davion's got to play more, and of course, maybe the most important thing, it's now we know Keon Ellis is more than just a guy. He's a baller.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're talking to Kings icon Jerry Reynolds. To that point, Jerry, you obviously have been involved in scouting and drafting. I know it always, after the fact, after a guy's established, it seems like it's unthinkable that a guy would not have been drafted. But a guy like Keon Ellis, in your experience, how does a guy like that go undrafted?
Well, he had a kind of a different route. He went to junior college, which sometimes hurts players. Of course, a lot of great players have done that, but that then getting to Alabama and really wasn't, known for his scoring, but was the defensive player of the year. The answer to the question is he should have been drafted.
Yeah.
How's that? The NBA, it's not a science, and some of the best players. Well, like I say, when your two-time MVP was 41st pick, that tells you something. Mm-hmm. And of course, we can go back to Kings days when Jimmer Fredette was a lottery pick and Isaiah Thomas was 60th last pick in the draft, and later on had a near MVP caliber season with the Boston Celtics, as Kyle knows. So, anybody thinks they got it figured it is either just lying or ignorant, one or the other.
Jerry, as we turn to Friday, man, I'm respecting the Pelicans. I know they're banged up. These guys here, Jay and Whitey, they're already preparing for OKC. I'm trying to stay humble and be like, nope, the name on the front of the jersey is more important than the name on the back of the jersey. How do you see Friday shaping up?
Well, I got to tell you, Kyle, I'm on your side. Those two guys, man, you're going to have to get control of that station down there, because I haven't forgot the 5 butt whippings that the Pelicans put on the Kings, and with key players out on each one of them. And so, I am optimistic. I really am. I believe the Kings can, and I believe they will win. But to go in there just like, oh, we're going to roll these guys. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, there's a rolling done, but it wasn't by you.
Jerry, as you know, I'm very close with Coach Kerr. Should I send him a thank you note for not playing Moses Moody whenever they come here, because he plays great and they don't play him?
Yeah, I think he should trade him to the Kings. That's my personal opinion.
We'll take him.
I like that guy. I think he'd be a wonderful fit. Can make shots. He can defend, and obviously he can adjust to not playing much at times. So I'm, tell you, I know you were close with Coach Kerr, so you might get that done. Could help them get rid of a guy they don't really want to play, and help the Kings.
Isn't this incredible, this whole season, where last week it looked like, oh, well, and now there is reason to think it's very reasonable to think that they're in the playoffs next week. It's incredible, Jerry.
Well, I think they can get there, and I think, and against Oklahoma City, I'll be about as silly as you and Jay. I think they can. I think they can go in there with some confidence. I like the matchups there a little better, to be honest with you. But I mean, now of course having Zion out, that is different. I was watching them play the Lakers last night. One of the most amazing things I've ever seen. LeBron took a charge on Zion. And Zion knocked him backwards like a rag doll.
Wow.
And I guarantee you, LeBron, you can say when he got up, was thinking, "Holy cow, that ain't, I've never been in that situation."
Jerry, I'll let you go on this. From my vantage point, can we give Mike Brown, and I'm going to include Monty McNair, their flowers, because I feel like, there's been some heat on there. The fans have been, really agitated at the way this season has gone. But to win 46 games in this West, and you look at the roster where it is today versus 3 years ago, those guys have done a hell of a job, Jerry.
Yes, they have. And, all I'm saying is, my goodness, this franchise is lucky to have them. This fan base is lucky to have them. They're very good at what they do. Certainly, I'd like for Monty to be able to trade for Joel Embiid, but it's very difficult. But I mean, just finding a guy and signing a guy like Keon Ellis before it looked like it was a good idea, that's a stroke of genius as far as I'm concerned. And, of course, Coach Brown and his staff, they've done outstanding work, and this is a work in progress. We've talked before. I never thought this team was a contender. It's a work in progress. Next year it could be, but I'm hoping to be wrong. And I'll measure for a ring if necessary. But I just very, very pleased with where this is going. I mean, and I sat there and badmouthed them when they lost to the Hornets, and I badmouthed them when they lost to the Pistons, and they deserved badmouthing. But overall, the joy of last night is still with me, fellas.
Yes.
And so.
Yes.
I've been so joyful all day. I even patted Mrs. Reynolds on the butt once, and so.
Oh, wow!
Hello.
You get a little frisky out here.
Just a little frisky.
Well, you're the best. Thank you. I'll be in touch. Thanks, Jared. We hope to talk to you again soon.
All right. Good days ahead, buddies.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Jerry.
Nobody like him.
Yep.
Never has been, never will be. When we come right back, look what you've done now, Sacramento. Dub Nation today is a divided nation. Next with the Drive Guys on